got screens on either side. They can see you really good.
Why am I not looking at them?
I don't know. We can do the whole interview.
I don't see any screen.
At the screens there, so.
All right, we're going to stop everything while they put a monitor here so I can see what we look like.
Yes.
Next time we do that, all right?
We will do that.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can have a giant screen of you behind your head. So.
All right, now we get serious. Stop kidding around out there.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and get everybody real excited. You just shot another one of your famous cameos.
I told you, when you're talking to the mic,
yes.
I can't make out what the hell you
just
said. See, it's funny. When people talk into the mic, it sounds to me like this. I don't know why. So hold the mic a little bit away and talk like a human being.
That doesn't sound like me at all. No, it's good. You just shot one of your very famous cameos for Iron Man 3. And without going...
Yeah!
I love the way you said my famous cameos.
And without going into too many major spoilers, was that a fun time? I'm hearing that that's going to be one of your best.
Oh, I think the cameo for Iron Man 3 might very well be the best I've ever done, and you know how great the others have been.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you a funny thing. Well, it's funny to me. You may not find it amusing at all, but, you know, grant me this one. You know, the Avengers made a lot of money.
Yeah. It did.
Movie? I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, well, it came out recently. And I'm going to tell you the real reason that the Avengers made all that money. You may remember my cameo is at the very end, and it's very brief. Now, a lot of people blink their eye or talking to the person next to them. They miss my cameo.
Nope.
So what happens when that occurs? They go back to the box office and they buy another ticket. Hey, we're not leaving until we see Stan's cameo. That's why the movie made so much money.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why they put cameos in.
Now, this has been an interesting year because we've had the Avengers come out, which we've been a long time waiting for that, and seeing all those heroes.
So have I.
All those great heroes on the big screen that you had such an important role with. That's got to be like the most gratifying thing of all, because we're not just looking at one character, we're looking at all these characters that you've worked so hard on over the years.
Yeah, they didn't put Doctor Strange in there, they didn't put the Black Panther, they didn't have Ant-Man, and a few others. I've got a bone to pick with them. Oh, I'll tell you something funny about the Avengers. Well, to me it's funny, you may not find it funny at all. I was asked to do a little something for the show Good Morning America on television.
Yeah.
And I don't know when this will come out. Maybe at Halloween, I don't know. But they came over to my office to film it, and this is what they wanted me to say. Let me think if I can remember it for a minute. Hey, Cap, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, there's trouble in Times Square. Avengers assemble! Something like that. Obviously, I did it magnificently, so you've got to watch Good Morning America until that comes out, and you can turn to the lucky person next to you and say, I heard Stan tell me about that.
I love how you did that and just went, or something like that.
I'm not sure of the exact wording, but it was close to that.
Yeah.
Actually, I changed it because what they wanted me to say was much duller. And I, of course, made it exciting and literary and magnificent.
Dang. Woo!
I could do a lot better if modesty wasn't always holding me back.
Well, you are one of the world's greatest editors, if not the world's greatest.
The world's greatest. I don't understand why they always say, Stan, you're going to be on a panel, and they call this a panel. Doesn't the panel have to be a lot of guests? I mean, I got my friend here who's wonderful, but he's like the interlocutor, and I'm sitting here all alone, defenseless, and no other people here to carry the burden, and they call it a panel. That isn't. Oh, I'll tell you another thing that bothers me. Did you ever see on the internet, I have this show, I don't know what, Stan Lee's...
World of Heroes.
World of Heroes, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I have something called Stan's Rants. where I talk about all the things that bother me. And of course, like me, everything bothers me. So I'm going to give you a preview of a rant that will come out soon. I've already done it, but it hasn't been made public yet, I don't think.
Okay.
I don't, and this is very serious, and I want you to pay attention. The word comic book. Every time somebody writes it, they write C-O-M-I-C space B-O-O-K. They write it like it's two words, comic book. And here's the fallacy of that, the enormity of the terrible injustice that is done. If it's a comic book, that means it's a funny book. That's what the word comic means. Nobody can call Thor a funny book. However, if they were to write it as one word, comic book, C-O-M-I-C-B-O-O-K, then it becomes a description of its own, just like magazine, television show, comic book, and a comic book would mean an illustrated story. So I want you all not to waste time when you leave here. Contact all your friends, everybody you know, and let's start the ball rolling on this, okay?
Yeah. Put it on Twitter.
He's thinking, why doesn't Stan shut up so I can ask him the questions I want to ask him?
Stan's rants, live and in person. You got to see a Stan rant live.
Yeah.
This also bears the subject of when you do a lot of these things online, and you're very present online. You're on Twitter, you're on YouTube, you're on several different videos. It's got to be great to kind of have that connection with your fan base, to where you can constantly be talking to them and constantly addressing concerns and new things that are coming out. How important is that to you on a daily basis to be able to communicate with the fans?
The fans are the most important people in the world to anybody in the entertainment business. And anybody in the entertainment means writing, acting, sports, music, comics, anything where you're entertaining the public. Anybody in entertainment who doesn't pay enough attention to fans is an idiot, because without fans, we're nothing. Except me, I be a lot, but the other guys.
You're a modest man, too. That's what I
That's one of my qualities.
We want to take...
Can't see any, are you sure there are people? All I see is blasters.
There, I assure you, there are 10 or 12 people out there, at least. There's at least 10 or 12 people. We want to take some questions from the audience. I know we have a microphone over here.
Maybe you want to. What makes you think I want to? Well, I have to, okay. Probably won't know the answer.
While we're waiting on somebody to come up there, you and I did a Q&A 15 years ago. You came out to the Dallas Collectors Con, I think it was, and I remember seeing like a dozen or so cameras in the audience, and I never once thought to ask anybody for a copy of that tape. So one of you guys...
Do I have it?
Do you have it? I don't think you have it. No.
You and me and one of them.
Well, yeah, I don't think any of these guys have it. But we've got a lot of video cameras out in the audience, so one of you guys has to give me a tape after this. That's all.
Nobody would ever let go of a tape like that. That would be sacred to anybody. I would understand that.
But the reason I bring that up is because that was 15 years ago, and you look exactly the same. You have the same energy. How do you do it? How do you keep up that kind of energy after all?
If I told you, everybody would do it. I have no idea. I just like what I'm doing. I like being with fans. I'm not very particular. I even like being with you. Well, I hope you're enjoying it as much as we're enjoying it.
I wish I could say the same. Let's start over here. We've got one question over here. Step on up to the mic and please speak loudly, if you will.
Hello, Mr. Lee. My question is, you have made a lot of excellent cameos in some great films based on your work. Yes. And I just wanted to know if in all those cameos that some of the other great Hollywood actors were some of your big fanboys and had ever asked you for your autograph.
I can only make out about 1/3 of that. Could you
Sure,
summarize it?
cameos, were any of the actors, did they kind of drop their egos for a minute and admit how much of a fan they were of you?
Well, I'd like to say that they all gathered round me and sang tribute songs, but actually they're very nice, all of them, and we've become friendly. Robert Downey Jr. is the first time I met him, he bowed down. I'll tell you a funny thing about these guys, though. Very often, they'll ask me to have lunch with them if they're in Beverly Hills, where our office is. And I'll bring them to a restaurant that I know. And I remember I walked in with Robert Downey Jr., actually, a few months ago. And all the waiters recognized him. Well, you can imagine how they treat me from now on at that restaurant. And I walked in with Chris, who plays Thor, and I walked in with Webb, the director of Mark Webb. Yeah, I'm no good at names. But these guys think I'm some big, powerful movie personality, and naturally I try not to dissuade them. The only bad thing about it, I have to leave an extra big tip, or they think that son of a bitch. Look at me. Costs you a lot of money to be a celebrity.
We have one on this side. Let's go over here.
My name's Reese. I'm a big fan, but my question is, if you had the opportunity to hang out with one of your characters, who would it be and what would you do?
I heard "if I," and that was all I got.
If you could hang out with one of the characters that you helped create, which one would it be and what would you do?
One of the girls. I don't know, whoever's the prettiest girl. I used to always show the artist pictures of my wife and say, make them look like her. That was never seen, but I knew it would be a gorgeous girl.
Is she in the audience? Are you sucking up?
I wish she were. If she was in the audience, I'd be with her somewhere, and I wouldn't even have time for this.
Go right over here.
How can you, it's blackness. How can you actually point to somebody? Does it look different where you are?
Yes,
He's fooling you.
I have superpowers. You gave them to me. Right over here.
Yes, Mr. Lee, I was wondering how you feel about your characters being portrayed on the big screen. Do you think the actors are doing an adequate job?
How do you feel about how do you feel about the characters that you created being portrayed on the big screen? Do you feel the actors are doing an accurate job?
Oh man, the fact that these characters are on the big screen and are so successful is the greatest thing that could have happened to me. The director, the screenwriter, the actors do all the work, and I end up getting a lot of the credit, and all I do is a lousy little cameo. Couldn't be a better deal.
Right over here.
First off, I just want to say thank you. Thank you on behalf of all the fans everywhere. You've created an amazing world that's gotten us through all kinds of great times and bad times, so thank you very much for everything you've created. Basically, I just said thank you.
You are, whoever you are, wherever you are very welcome.
I was just wondering if you could have any superpower yourself. You've created all these heroes with all these amazing superpowers. What superpower would Stan Lee want to have?
What superpower would Stan Lee want?
I would want luck.
Luck?
Because if you're lucky, everything else follows through.
Yeah,
You like that girl, you want a date, hey, you're lucky, you'll get the date. Job open, you want the job, you're lucky, you'll get the job. See what I mean? Whatever you want, you're lucky. So forget all these other nonsensical things. Like, even if you're strong, somebody will be stronger. If you're fast, you can still fall in a ditch and hurt yourself. But if you're lucky, everything goes right for you. But don't go taking that from me. I get first dibs on luck.